All right, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to another earnings stream. We are going to take a look at Nike. We got some big companies reporting today. This is going to be a bit of fun because we know Nike, right? We know how they like to have some big reactions based on earnings. So they are red for the day, about 1.7% red for the day there. So interested to see how they get the reaction with earnings today. Then we also have MU. Let me just look at MU as well. Right, MU, let me make sure. MU. So big. Also, we have FedEx. We also have QUBT, which is a quantum computing company. Not to see much there, right? Revenue is going to be tiny. But the big ones we're going to pay attention to is MU and Nike. I think those ones are going to move really nicely in after hours. So we're going to pay attention to how they react here. That was just market close. We're at 4 p.m. So welcome to the stream, guys. All on social media and the Discord. How was your trading day today? Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. What went well, what didn't go well. But we got Micron here, Micron Technology having a little reaction here, but I'm sure the earnings haven't been released just yet. Let me go to the 1 minute chart. Both of them. That's where we get the big reaction, right? So Micron's getting some reaction here. It's up about 3% already. Let's have a look at their earnings, what to expect with the actual earnings to be released today. MU, let's start with MU. MU, we can see that the last earnings that were released on December 18th last year, the EPS was a beat by just 1%, 1.7%, and then the revenue, actually, they came in short on the revenue side. So a mixed bag there for the last earnings. Expectations for this earnings, it says 4:01 p.m. is the earning release. So that's maybe what we're getting now. A revenue, they expect 7.89 billion, EPS 1.42, so $1.42 earnings per share on the EPS side. So those are the numbers we're looking for. Historical data, EPS beat estimates 14 times in the last 17 quarters. So they have a really good history of beating on the EPS side. Revenue side, they've beaten revenues 13 out of this last 17 quarters. So you can see that they're working on ramping things up. Those are really good revenue beats on both sides, revenue and EPS, 13 times out of 17 quarters, not bad. And then we have Nike. Nike, they're expecting 11 billion on the revenue, EPS 29 cents. Last quarter, they beat revenue by 1.82%. EPS, they beat by a whopping 20%. So EPS was a big beat in the last quarter. And I remember how that reacted pretty well, but then died off into the next day. So we may get some big reactions, but then, do they hold or not? We shall see with Nike again. Looks like Micron is up 5.6% on these earnings. Let me see if I can get some of the numbers, because it's hard to get the live feed sometime of the actual live earnings. It takes a few minutes, it lags, right? So even on X, when you follow some of the big names, it takes a little bit of time to come through. Have a look if I can find Micron. Oh yes, Micron. I can go to Alpha Sense, because that's a really good one to use. Alpha Sense, where are we? Right here. Let's see what numbers they have. Big numbers on the earnings. Let's share this really quickly. Revenue 8.05 billion versus 8.9 7.1 for the prior quarter last year, right? So they're comparing it to the same period but last year. So you can see it came in a little bit less than last year on this side. Let me share this also in the Discord on the chat so we can all have a peek at that. That's a Micron side. And then let me go to the chart again. And let me just share this on socials as well. Okay, perfect. So we have what were the expectations? Let's have a look at that so we can compare. Because I'm not sure if this website's going to update it. So the revenue side, they were expecting 7.89. So revenue 8.05 billion. So they beat that on the revenue side. And then EPS they're looking for $1.42. So let's see what their EPS is here. It looks like it's $1.41. So just a little bit miss on the EPS, I believe there. Operating cash flow 3.94 billion versus 3.24 billion. Let me see. GAAP net income of 1.58 billion or $1.41 per diluted share. So yeah, so we got some big numbers there. They didn't really disappoint just on the EPS by a cent, but the actual reaction here is what matters, and it's actually holding up pretty well. Because what do we normally see? We normally see kind of a big pump, and we're like, oh, everyone's buying. Let's try to trade that. Let's try to scalp it, and then you see a big followed by a big red candle, and it dumps right off, and you're like, damn, why did I even do that? So for this, we got the green candles, but they're actually holding up at these levels. So that's good that we're seeing that, and it's not an instant dump off. So we're seeing good reaction here, up 6.7% on Micron Technology, as we know, big semiconductor company. And then we're looking for Nike still. Let's see when Nike's come out. Let's have a look at that. 4:15. So we got another 10 minutes before Nike releases their earnings. Just a recap. Let's recap real quick. The Discord, also in the free section of the Discord, we did trade a SPY put right on the breakdown. While we wait for Nike, let me just go over here to SPY. And we did play the breakdown pretty much like it was around just after lunch, I think it was. Let me just go back to the chart and see where exactly we traded it from. 2-minute chart. Let's see where we traded it right here. So pretty much yesterday we had a big move right to the 570, and then we pulled back. Pre-market opened up this morning at 4 o'clock, and it dumped right off up until about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. We dumped right off to about 562 on SPY. Then we gapped right back up. As soon as market opened, we gapped right back up, and that's why I put this chart out there this morning. We gapped right up to this area that we saw yesterday. Then the bears came right back in and decided to pile in again and pull this back down. So this is exactly where we alerted this SPY put when we saw rejection here. Now, depending on where you sold your SPY puts, I took about 53 to 60% on my 5 contracts that I had. But you probably would have got maybe 100%, 90% if you held it a little bit longer than I did. But nice downtrend once we gapped into that 570 again. A really hard rejection off that 570. And then we just continued to trend down pretty much into the afternoon, right? We didn't really see any big, strong buying pressure anywhere once we got into that downwards trend. So if you're in the Discord, in the free section even, that's where I actually popped into the free chat and put that alert out there for everyone to take advantage of. So I hope you traded that, or maybe next time I will see you in there and you can trade the next one that we have. for the free section. Also premium, we had some big hitters over there too with on the premium side. So SPY ended up closing red, right? So 570 is a hard sticking point, especially yesterday. 570 was hit, then we saw a downwards trend. 570 was hit this morning, and then we saw a nice big downwards trend again into the afternoon. The only thing I see positive coming out of SPY, looking at it, is about 562. We're like holding that area pretty well the last couple of days. If we go on maybe this time frame here, get rid of everything on this chart. Every time we retest that 562 lately, we just bounce pretty nicely off that level. So I think just pretty much a flat week again, but this is pretty much where we're trading in. Excuse me. Let me put this red. So we have like the last couple of days, we've been in this 562 to 570. That's pretty much where it's been. Every time we bounced off 562, we've seen a nice buying pressure come in and push it back towards the high 560s. Then we got rejection again, and then another play. If you want to play bull side and bear side, you can flip flop throughout the day. But that's exactly where we've been trending. So if we can close over 570, maybe 571, then we can look to play it higher. But at the moment, it's just in this channel where you can just take advantage of this up and down $8 move between the bottom and top. Now, if we lose 562, then I think we go back into the 550s and start trending a little bit lower. So those are my levels to watch for: breakout for higher or breakdown for lower. But in the middle, we can just trade this up and down until one side decides to break. So that was a big play today in the group. Now let me have a look at Nike, see if we got any reaction here. I mean, Nike is so beaten down, but with these tariffs, I'm not quite sure if Nike's gonna hit with some good earnings today. I'm kind of hesitant on what they're gonna bring out, because these tariffs probably will affect everything with China, everything with Canada, Mexico, Europe. I feel like it's probably gonna hit their bottom line. If not this quarter, maybe the next quarter it will hit their bottom line, unless some kind of negotiation happens and it gets taken off. But Micron is the winner right now, up 5.8%, doing very well. Let's go look at the bigger time frame for. Oh, look at that too. Micron was getting rejection right on the SMA 200 on that daily. Every time, once it dropped below this, look at that. Right here, right here, right here, right here. We get rejection right off this SMA 200 for the last 3 times, and then finally we're breaking above it. Now, if we can hold above that SMA 200, then this chart may start flipping bullish again. May start heading towards maybe the 115, 120s again up here. But wow, what a rejection right off that level. 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So if we can close above that purple line, then this could be a start of a reversal on the trend sign on the bigger time frames, the longer term trend. We could start maybe pushing back up to 120, 115, 120 next. Anyone else make some good money today? Any trades, any SPY trades, any Tesla trades? I mean, Tesla's been very volatile lately. So anyone trade a Tesla today? Anyone trade some good options? It's always good to share to brag about your winnings. It's okay. We all like to hear it. Let me check in here. All right. Nike, I mean, let me have a look at Nike's bigger time frame. Like, honestly, if we can break above, I think we have a good chance to get into the 80s if we can break above maybe 77. Yeah, that's a good pivot point right there around this level. This level here. That would be a very good pivot point if we can get above this red line. It's about 77 change, give or take, right? But I think we can, if we can get back above 77, we have opportunity to get back to like 82, maybe fill this gap all the way back to 90 to 95. It's definitely a big opportunity, but to the downside, pretty beaten down. Like, it has to hold here because look how many times we bounce from this level. Bounce from this level many times here. Another time there. We dropped below it, but regained it the next day. So we held that once we got back above. So like $70, make or break under $70. If we lose that, we have an opportunity to maybe get to 57 down here. And then above 77, aim for 82 to like 89 to $90 next. So there's some big moves, big swings that we can trade as a swing trader. So we just got to wait for that. We either get above here, and then we can start breaking back up here again, or we break down, right? We just break down and move down towards this $60 under 60. So we got, like, right now is actually being released. I'm going to get those numbers for you in a minute. Let's zoom in a little bit. All right, we're getting some good reaction so far. Let me keep Micron on too. We're about a 1.82% now, nearly 3% up. I was on Meta puts. I was following Ethan's advice, Meta, watching a break below 575 for continuation to the downside. What happened with that, Gary? In the end, did we break below 575 but regain 575 like pretty quickly? What happened with that trade? I got some Kenny Penny got some SPY trades. Like, I missed the whole move in the beginning, and it's totally fine if you're like too busy in the morning, you don't have time to kind of plan out your trades. It's okay. The best thing to do is not rush into a trade. Just wait for the next setup. And I just waited for us to break down under 570 again once we got that rejection, and traded it into the afternoon. So, I missed the big move in the morning, but took advantage of the pullback into the afternoon. So the worst thing is to feel too much stress trying to take a trade, right? You got to have that time to make that plan before you jump in. Okay, so Nike, I'm not quite sure what Nike's going to do here. It's flickering a little bit. I said above 77 up here would be nice to turn this around to more of a bullish trade, longer term. Let me see. I didn't think Ethan took a trade. When I talked to him this afternoon, he didn't take a trade. He said, he said he wished he took a trade this morning because there was like 90 people in there and he wanted to get a trade. But I believe there wasn't really much of a decent setup that he was looking for. Like, his credentials for a trade just weren't there for him today. So it was slow for him. Nike, that's okay. Gary, thank you for sharing that. So Nike EPS, that came in 54 cents, revenue 11.27 billion, gross margin 41% versus 41.9, inventory 7.5 versus estimates of 7.48. Not all bad. Not all bad. Let me go to this now. Let's see if this updated. Not yet. But we can go here and we can see if, here we go. So third quarter revenue, yeah. So you put there pretty much 11.3 billion. Let's see what they were looking for. 11.01 billion. So they beat the estimate on the revenue side. EPS, let's see what you said. EPS was 54 cents. Their estimate, what they were looking for, is 29 cents. So that's why we're seeing a positive reaction again. Because okay, it may be down from prior year this time in the prior year, but for what the estimates, what they were looking for, they beat estimates. So they beat revenue and they beat EPS pretty much. What's the you said EPS 54, close to 50%. Oh, it's more than 50%, close to nearly double of what their expectation was on the EPS. Close to 100% surprise there on the EPS, what they're expecting. So that's why we get a nice reaction here. 3.5% is not huge, but it's better than seeing a big dump off. So really good reaction there for Nike. And like I said, if we can flip 77 and hold it as support, flip it from resistance to a support, I think we have huge momentum to get back into the 80s. And I will look to take a swing trade at that point, because we will look at some of those bullish indicators, and it will give us some good indication to buy, at least start a position in this particular swing trade. So just look out in the coaching section, in the swing coaching section. Look out for more Nike posts for another swing, because we traded it twice so far and made away with some good profit. So look for another one. I'm gonna post this in the coaching session, alert channel, and I do like the potential for Nike again if we can flip 77. Oh, you know what I got to do? Yeah, that's what I got to do. Perfect. Totally forgot to post the links for this. So 2 big reactions. Actually, I like to see this. Let me see what also FedEx is doing, because I like to see a little glimpse of what their earnings were like. Oh, they're down 4% today. So they're down again. Let's have a look at the bigger time frame. Got all these lines in white because I used to have a black background, right? So now I've got to change them all to black. This background screen wakes me up in the morning. It's bright. It's not just black, and it's really right to the eyes. Wakes me right up. Okay, so with FedEx, we saw down 4% to 236. Not good, because now it's below the estimate 200 on the weekly even. So it's looking quite bearish for FedEx if it closes under there. But I'd be looking at anywhere between 222 and 229 to see if that level holds. And I'm just basing it off of this price action over here to the left. If we lose that, then we have some room. Wow, this came down 148. That's a hell of a candle, reversal candle right here. Look at that. That's really nice. So FedEx, no love there. Look at FedEx. Revenue was a beat, EPS was a miss, but not by much. they beat revenue by 1.2% and they missed EPS by 0.66%. So that's not even much. Just waiting for these ones to update. But I'd be looking at the 220s, 222 to 228 to see if that level holds. If we get more of a pull down, if we do, then that could be a nice potential to bounce off this previous level here for maybe a reversal, because I'd love to find reversal trades. Or if we don't hold there, then we have some room to come down to 200 and below. So that's kind of the last hold right there. 222 is the last hold before we have some momentum to the downside coming to the chart. So be very hesitant to trade anything up if we lose those levels. Let me go back to Micron. Nike's up 4%, near on 4%. Nothing huge. A slow move with earnings. But that's that. So recap before I jump on out of here in a few minutes. Recap, we got Nike that beat EPS, beat revenue expectations. So we got that reaction, 4% up. So not bad for the afternoon. I would like to see the reaction tomorrow, right? So if we can really start building momentum tomorrow, pre-market into market open, and we can start seeing some momentum, there could be a possible day trade for some options there. I'd be looking at that in the Discord to post. And then Micron technology up. That's the biggest one. That one's up 5%. It was up as much as, I think, 7-8% just a minute ago. This one also was an EPS beat and a revenue beat. So they're both strong earning reports today. It's just seeing how the market digests that into tomorrow and see if we can build momentum with this price action into tomorrow's market open. Again, going overnight, what we're going to expect, we got to look for tariff reactions. We got to look for any kind of escalations in these wars with Israel, that the ceasefire broke. We also got to see if there's any good information coming from maybe Russia and ceasefire there. So all these things come into play overnight now. And that's, maybe it's not the perfect time to start swing trading, but it could be an ideal, time to look into levels and where you want to buy for some swing trades. So, tune into the Discord tomorrow. If there's any trades for these two, we're definitely going to post them. And then the daily watch list, I post the daily watch list on socials and in the Discord with more of a play-by-play in the Discord. So if you're not in there, jump in there. It's discord.gg.pennyboys. So jump in there if you're in socials and you want to come into the group and you want to learn, get some free education, get some free live streams. Jump in there. That's where we're going to be at most of the time. Socials, we're there, but we're just more focused on the group, the community. But I'm going to wrap it up now, guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow in the Discord and on socials too. Have a good evening, guys.